Hi, Elena Davis here with I Am Waters. I had a friend send me an article this morning that was in the Houston Chronicle. That's the Houston paper in Texas here. It says, in Texas, homeless numbers have seen a big drop. The Federal Department of Housing and Urban Development recently released its annual point-in-time count. You guys have heard me talk about the PIT count. For homeless people for 2016, measuring the number of people on the street and one night in every state and almost every city in the United States. It says it's not a perfect measure since the numbers can change. Well, yeah, it's not a perfect measure. That would be a severe understatement. It's like there's all kinds of holes in the numbers that HUD reports. It's not a perfect measure, but since the numbers can change with weather and other factors, but it's a fairly consistent way of estimating the homeless population over time. In Texas, that number has been dropping steadily from 2007, the first year the count was conducted, to 2016. Okay. The HUD point-in-time count says that we have 564,000 homeless people in the United States. The Department of Education says that we have 2.5 million homeless children. So right there is a big discrepancy. If it's true that there is, and let's just say benefit of the doubt, because I could sit here for an hour and talk about the discrepancies in HUD's reporting as it relates compared to the Department of Education. Their numbers are completely not in alignment or agreement with one another. If it's true, giving HUD the benefit of the doubt, that there is a decrease in homelessness, then in the effort and obligation, every organization, nonprofit organization, whether it's in homelessness, education, no matter what it is, but in this case, we're talking about the homeless. It is up to the shelters to report the decrease in the amount of homeless that they're seeing through their shelter doors. So if they're seeing 5,000 people a year less, if they're seeing decreases of 10,000 homeless people coming through their doors a year, or more, then we want to know that, because those shelters don't need to be raising as much money. They don't need to have capital campaigns where you would be raising $30 million to build a building for homeless people that are declining in numbers. The shelters should absolutely include in their messaging the fact that there is a decline. Why? Well, they should be very proud of themselves. I mean, if anybody in the nonprofit space is doing a good job, they should be working themselves out of a job. And then the other thing is if there is a decline, the shelters don't need to ask for as much money from donors. There's only so many donors and people that can give in a city in a truly meaningful way. I get $1 is meaningful and $5, but that means that you wouldn't need as much money from the foundations in a city if you have less homeless people. And those funds could go to another cause or solving another problem. So we would want to see that from the shelters. And then the other thing is that if in fact this is not in alignment with what the shelters are actually seeing, many of the shelters that are doing the counting are receiving federal funds. And if they're not seeing a decrease, but HUD is saying there is a decrease, then the shelters need to speak about that too. I get the concern would be is that if you're a shelter that is receiving federal funds, you would be worried that those federal funds might be pulled if you're speaking out against the HUD report, the point-in-time count. So that's it. This is all about transparency. I will keep saying this. It is absolutely imperative that everybody speaks to transparency It's our duty to do this. It's everybody's duty to do this. So that's what I had to share with you today. Elena Davis, I am Waters, and I will be back soon. Thank you.